And you thought I was nuts for suggesting we shut the VA down. How about showing workers they're more concerned about global warming the door? It is true. These are about the oceans in the middle of this tidal wave of agency indifference. And I'm not talking about earlier this year. I'm talking earlier this week. Like yesterday, the Department of Veteran Affairs tweeting about the world's oceans and how they're under threat from overfishing and pollution. Believe these Moby Dicks who would sooner say flirt than give a flip about the very real human beings under their care? No wonder Patel said go to hell to the VA, dump it and fix it now. What fills its void? What happens?
Immediately. Are you ready for this? I said it the first time. It's real simple. The President of the United States, with not even an executive order, can just say to every one of the Surgeon Generals, open duty medical facilities, DOD facilities across the board, and then also use the National Health Corps facilities right now to fill in the void to end the backlog.
They're full already.
They're not.
Well, that back and forth sparking hundreds of tweets, all using the hashtag Cavuto line, and it went like this. Just a few for you. Leaving men behind is the same as leaving vets untreated after serving the country. Another. Now, not tomorrow, now before one more aircraft lifts off for Iraq yet again. Still this. Fire all and start fresh. Not throwing more of my system. None worrying about the ocean, all worried about what we're doing to our vets. Incredible. And let's just say, concerned vets for America's Jessie Jane Duff isn't at all surprised, but the retired Gunnery Sergeant of the U.S. Marines says it is time to address now. Very good to have you back, Jane. What did you make of this latest development that apparently they have time at the VA to talk about global warming? Very little for vets.
Well, you know, if the president was serious, he wouldn't have Josh Taylor as the assistant acting public affairs for the VA. He's essentially never been a vet. He also has been on the campaign. He was the head of the campaign for Obama in his public relations, and he essentially tweeted this out, telling us all that this is more important than what these left-wing propaganda machines that are working at veterans is an insult itself.
You know what I'm thinking of? Yes, it started with a statement talking about this push for global warming, and now the president's now trying to expand sort of a protective area for everything from dolphins to whales to fish that are vulnerable to becoming extinct, way past the traditional bounds of the U.S. And then every agency could sign on to the sympathetic tweet. But then these twits at the VA, who you'd think would have, you know, more worries for the time being, start, glomming on here. How stupid can they be?
Oh, well, obviously they're not dumb enough, because just to work for the VA, prop VA, he's actually attacked. He knows out housing. He tweeted, mates over in, we're all psychopaths. Fox News went after him for, I'm sorry, you know, he's at Housing and Urban Development, but he won in 12 with history of these left-wing machines working for the VA. We need to start recognizing that there are dead men and women out there as a result of the VA's lack of care, and it's far more than those that we have seen reported, because we can't even prove how many of these have missed appointments, have actually ended up dying as a result of the lack of the VA care.
Well, the one thing we do know is that a number of people have been offered this job, including the head of the Cleveland Clinic and a few, and no one wants it. Now, I can understand until we reconcile this out of the Senate and the House that will call for tougher standards and maybe the ability to reprimand, if not fire, more of these workers, you'll get some more. But the fact of the matter is, they don't want to walk into a job which their hands will be tied and then they'll be blamed.
You know, even the acting made a statement defending the bonuses when he was asked by a disabled Marine how many bonuses he's accepted and why can't they use that bonus money towards suicides. And it's more or less a very simple question, and instead he was publicly very upset. This was in a ceremony in North Carolina. So I'm taking a step back now. The VA has resisted bills that have passed on the House and Senate because they allow executives to be fired. Why? They're more for the bureaucrats than the veterans care. So the VA doesn't even have its priorities straight. Let's get this back on track and realize that 1.5 million records were deleted by the VA. This was discovered by the GAO. That tells me we don't even know if those people exist, we don't know if they got care, or we don't know if they're dead. We're never going to nail them down for how many deaths they caused. I guarantee it.
It is interesting how millions of records disappear at the VA, emails disappear at the IRS. It does have a sort of a Keystone Cops feel to it. I don't care where you are politically. You have to be insulted just as a taxpayer what's going on here, and especially as an American, how we're treating our veterans.
Yes, when a records start evaporating by your own government that you have trusted, I think you need to question your trust. Too big of a government allows people to be overrun and not enable themselves to take care of themselves. A government monopoly on this.
We have to circumstance. There must be some good news out there. Worrying about flipping in the middle of that going on. Too incredible. Thank you. Always good seeing you.